This is me, Marty the Fallout Guy. In this video, I'm going to be starting a new series where every Wednesday I go over everything that happened this week in news related to Fallout, inXile, Obsidian. There are a lot of stuff that came up, and some of this may be a little more than a week, but I'm trying to make this video kind of like your central news thing for Fallout. So without any further ado, let's start off with the video. One thing that was talked about was the Fallout Monopoly board. This is apparently going to be coming out sometime around the time of Fallout 4. I think that this is actually a very cool thing, and I'm very curious to see how the Monopoly board will be, but to be honest, I don't think I want to buy it. It's not something that would actually kind of at all interest me. It's just a Monopoly board. I don't need to buy another Monopoly board. So moving on, this is one thing that I noticed since playing on Windows 10. And on Windows 10, for some odd reason, the original Fallout games have no problems. I mean, I played on Windows 7 and 8, and they always had that it turns to black and you have to, move your mouse over it so you could see it all. There's so many problems. You always have to install the Fault Fix mod. And when I did on Windows 10, they worked perfectly. I have no idea why. Some people says it uses a lot of the DOS programming and a lot of the older stuff from Windows 95 and 98. That could be it. It could be that it, for some odd reason, just works. For Windows 10, I have so many games that didn't work for anything else but Windows 95 and 98, and it works really good. It really surprised me. Tell me your experience. Do you have the same experience with me, or is it just me? It's just something that I noticed. One thing I'm really excited for, because, in Fallout 3, there's, no variety in assets. And same thing with Skyrim. It's kind of boring looking at the same thing over and over again. Apparently, this game has twice the assets of Skyrim and of Fallout. So this is a very cool thing. Or twice the assets of Skyrim. I'm not sure about Fallout, but probably around 3 or 4 times the amount of Fallout, because Fallout had, no variety in assets. I think that that's very cool. I'm curious to see how many unique assets are going to be, and how many assets are reused and used over, and that same thing. But anyways, because a lot of the things that I noticed from the trailer is there's a lot of places. There's this completely nuked out area. I forgot what they called it. They called it something. There was these swamps. There was a city part. There was a suburbia part. There was so much variety in the trailer. So I'm very curious to see the amount of assets and the amount of environments that are in this game. So I found that pretty cool. Another thing that happened is that there is more the script, and there's more lines of dialogue than Skyrim and Fallout 3 combined. I'm very glad about this. I was really worried if this was going to be more of an action game than a RPG, like a lot of people think, and I still think that, but I really am excited to see how much dialogue they have, how much variety in voice actors, and see if they have improved at all since Fallout 3, Skyrim, and Oblivion, because they were pretty bad in the voice acting and the writing department. I'm very curious to see how well they're written. And also, moving on, this is something related to inXile, and I think inXile is just, they're killing it right now. The new Bard's Tale movie new Bard's Tale game has a website now. Be sure to check that out, and I'm really going to be trying to cover as much inXile, Obsidian, and Fallout news as I can. But anyways, more Obsidian news. They talk awesome. I asked them if they would do a Guardians of the Galaxy game. They said they would if they had the budget and stuff, which, I bet a lot of people would say that, but that's just one thing that just makes you so happy whenever Obsidian answers your replies and tweets. They even described how they wanted to make a Star Trek, of course, a Star Wars game, and mini Dungeons and Dragons style game, and I'm very curious to see how they would make those kind of games, and I'm really curious to see if people will be giving them more and more chances, because I think they really deserve it. After all the great games they've done, whether it's a big budget game or a low budget game, and then with improving their glitches and, crashes and problems early on with launch, they've been really getting better and better with creating more solid games. I'm very excited about this. There is a lot of things on PC Power Play that show that there will be destructible environments, from whether it's the Vertibird, Mr. Handy, or a grenade thrown at a wall. We kind of already knew this, but it was just kind of confirmed that there was more than just armor and certain walls. So I'm very curious to see if there will be actual whole buildings that can be destroyed. This is something that I'm very excited for if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really am just excited, and I hope they have a lot of destructible environments. Moving on, there is no 3-dog. I think that this is actually a good thing. A lot of people are saying, no, there should be 3-dog. But this also adds, so what if you kill 3-dog, you wanted your play to be as, canon as possible and not be this uncanon playthrough. Having no 3-dog just makes a lot of sense. And personally, I found 3-dog particularly annoying. In fact, I think he's the most annoying out of any of the people that do radio stations. I found 3-dog at times just so obnoxious and so ridiculous. I mean, I know a lot of people like him. I personally don't like him. But anyways, I'm glad that there's no 3-dog, and I know a lot of people are disappointed, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, moving on. Fallout concept art. There wasn't a whole lot. There was a bridge, which actually Mr. Matty Plays did a pretty good analysis video on. But, there wasn't a whole lot other than the android, which really interests me, mostly because I thought that this looked very 50s and really fit the Fallout theme. And I was curious to how the androids were going to look, whether or not they'll look like an anime android, or whether or not they'll look kind of like that 50s horror-esque android. And I'm very glad that they're going with the 50s horror-esque android. Moving on, there was this photo that was kind of cool that I just thought I would share with you guys, which is if Fallout 4 was a 2D isometric game. Tell me what you think about this. I think it looks pretty cool. I saw this video on, I think it's Novatails, who actually introduced me to this article. So I think it's pretty cool. And then the last thing I want to talk about, dark humor in Fallout. Pete Hines said that he actually doesn't know if this will have dark humor. He doesn't know, he doesn't have enough information on the game, which usually when he says that, it either means he honestly doesn't know, or it means that he doesn't really think it does, because really, the humor in Fallout 3, as stated in the article by Metro, was very dry, and there wasn't a whole lot to it. So I'm very curious to see if there will be implementing more dark humor like Fallout 1 and 2, or it's more that kind of, sort of dark humor that tries to be dark-ish-esque humor of Fallout 3. I'm very curious to see how well it's going to be done, how well written. Actually, I had to edit this into the video, is that there is going to be regularly free updates for Fallout 4, and that there is a DLC season pass. I honestly think that this is kind of a weird thing to announce before the game launches. I'm not going to hate on it though, because even a lot of great games do this. It's just something that kind of happens that I need to get used to. But overall, it's another one of those things that I have no opinions on. We don't know how good of a deal the season pass will be. It's just something that has been confirmed. So please tell me all your thoughts about this in the comment section below. And also tell me, do you think that this Wednesday format will work? Or do you think I should just, post videos every once in a while? Or every time I get news? Or do you want me to just do this weekly format? Please tell me in the comment section below. And thank you for watching my video. And thank you for getting me to 100+ subscribers. And I'll see you in my next video.
Fucking A, right. Now kill it. That one's coming for me.